Hello, my name is Kurt, and today I'll be talking about another MGTOW topic. The topic in this video will be beta males versus alpha males in all sorts of fields of life, okay? I'm going to start off with careers. Work. If you look at any workforce, if you look at any career, there is definite segregation. In any company you have the beta male positions and you have the alpha male positions. Most careers are either beta or alpha. Let me give you an example. Well, give you plenty of examples of beta male careers. First and foremost, clergy. Any type of clergy. Priest, monk, religious practitioners. These were ugly ass beta males, or just beta males in general, that could never get the girls, that could never get laid, or are secretly closeted homosexuals, and they need to go into these religious endeavors and stuff like that to explain. They need to do this as a career to explain why they are not getting married, why they are not pursuing that. You know, a priest not married, oh okay, that makes sense. A monk not married, oh okay, that makes sense. You know, that's their career. That's what they're supposed to be. You know, but in reality, these beta males go into the position of clergy to sort of empower themselves, you know, to feel that they are more powerful than other people by worshiping and dealing with this fairy tale nonsense. You know, as a priest, you have people that come to your mass and you're the one preaching the sermon and you're the one on the spotlight. You know, that's the only time that beta males could get any sort of spotlight. And it goes the same with the monks. You know, it's just beta, it's beta male life. Like, you spend your entire life on your fucking knees praying to some non-existent being. Or as a monk, you're staring at a wall trying to reach nirvana. When all these motherfuckers drop dead in the end, and that's it, you know? Do something productive with your life instead of chasing some fairy tales that might not exist. Why not try chasing something that is reality? Why not try being a stock market broker? Why not trying to be a real estate agent? Why not trying to do something productive in this one and only life that you have, instead of chasing some fairy tale nonsense that may or may not exist? I'm not one for taking chances. Imagine spending your entire life worshipping something, believing fully, and then you drop dead and there's nothing. That's a whole existence wasted, you know? And even if these whole things of heaven and hell and whatever, it's like why? Why waste your fucking time with that nonsense, you know? See, this is what happened. Even back in old times, the beta males, for example, would stay behind and would become religious folk or would become priests or whatever, whereas the alpha males became the soldiers, you know? So any male not physically fit or just like mentally retarded, or just they couldn't fight and they couldn't be alpha, they were thrown into the clergy and they were made religious folks, because that's sort of the only option they had. Anyway, moving on, another profession, poet, author, writer. There's many poets and authors that are alpha or were beta and changed alpha, you know, later on in their career. But look at this, you know, Shakespeare. Most of the stuff he wrote was love, romance, mangina bullshit, you know. And even people back then, like poets back then, they would write like things and poems to women, you know, as if female nature was ever different. Females were the same ever since the beginning of time, just how men were the same ever since the beginning of time. You understand what I'm saying? So that you had these beta males writing poems and all this stuff, and maybe intelligence was valued back then, and the women didn't really have a great grasp of the world, so to speak, because in ancient times, you know, you didn't have internet, you didn't have long distance access. If you weren't rich, you really didn't travel far at all. And even back then, you didn't live long to begin with anyway. So the women never had time to monkey branch, and never had the opportunities to monkey branch and move on. So if they saw some, you know, beta male writing them poetry and all this stuff, maybe they thought it was sweet, and they would bang him, and maybe they would marry him, but they would be fucking the alpha male behind his back in one way or another. You know, this is why they would get hanged sooner or later, or get decapitated, or, you know, put into prison cells for witchcraft and then burned at the stake. It's as simple as that. That's probably how cheating was done back in the day. If a woman cheated and she was married or whatever, um, she would probably be considered somebody who practices witchcraft, because it must be possessed, it must be something demonic to cause a holy woman, a married woman, to do things like that. No, it's just female nature. Anyway, moving on. Now we get into the alpha male careers. What are alpha male careers? Stockbroker, um, you know, musicians could definitely be alpha males, but then it depends. You have your beta male musicians, like Kurt Cobain was definitely a beta male. I feel that if he lived long enough and he kept on going with life, he would get over the depressive mumbo jumbo, just start doing some coke, start doing some whatever, and then you'll get over that fairy tale nonsense. And then, if his woman left him or whatever, and his kid, and he would have to pay child support or whatever sooner or later, he would understand. It would get through his head, and I believe that he would become an alpha male. But his whole existence was kind of beta. But you have alpha male musicians, like, I feel that Jimmy Page is definitely an alpha male. He's a beta. I feel he's a beta in his interior. Like, Robert Plant gives off the whole vibe and the whole essence of an alpha male. He goes out there on stage, like, shirtless and, like, starts, humping the air, and all the women go wild, because he's the front man of the band. Whereas Jimmy Page is there in the back railing all these solos, and he's, has his chest out and everything. But I feel that Jimmy Page is definitely beta in mentality, but his presence is like a mix. It's like a beta and an alpha male mixture. It's like that quiet guy that, like, doesn't say anything and doesn't do anything, but when he gets drunk or he gets really fucking wild, like, you could see he's like the most alpha one there, like the life of the party and stuff like that. So that's how I see it. So musicians could definitely be beta and alpha. It depends. Okay, moving on. Let's see, what are the career options? I feel like anybody in the industry that is making things with their hands, be it carpentry, be it blacksmithing, be it metalwork, any sorts of stuff like that. I feel that that's very alpha male work, because these pussy-ass clergy folks, they don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to get burned. They don't want cranes to fall on the back of their head. They'd rather be sitting and staring at a wall, or praying and kneeling on their knees and getting free money, So it takes the alpha males. The alpha males have to move, and they have to work their ass off to build these fucking, to produce the building materials for these temples in which these beta males reside in, Funny how that works, huh? But yeah, And another thing is, beta males want world peace. Alpha males want world domination. This goes back even to ancient times. The king wanted to conquer as much land as possible, and have as many people under his power as possible. The beta males became priests, or went on some kind of pilgrimage and died in the mountains somewhere. And getting into that too, this also occurred during any sorts of war, any sort of period in which wars were occurring. You had the less physically fit, the less alpha, mostly beta males that weren't fit for fighting, and that weren't mentally fit for killing and going out there and just shooting the shit out of people and blowing people to smithereens. You had those that couldn't emotionally handle it. So they were kind of left behind, and they became either the religious practitioners, or they became, they became helpers around, the community. While, they became sort of like women. They would clean, they would cook, they would do all this bullshit. While the real alpha males and the real, fighters were out there, actually fighting and actually, causing things to move forth and protecting the beta males left behind, So this is kind of how it always was. So that's why, getting into these topics and all this stuff, this is why you see a lot of beta males and all these people commenting on MGTOW, saying all these things like, oh, MGTOW is truly a step forward in human evolution. And yeah, it makes, they say this sarcastically, oh yeah, it makes sense, to fuck robots and make women obsolete. Yes, it makes absolute sense and all this stuff. These are the wimpy beta males that believe in world peace. These are the wimpy beta males that believe that there is any true love and romance and kindness in females out there, Let them be. Let them wobble. Let them wander in their own piles of shit. Let them drown in their bathtubs full of their own shit. This is another thing I want to get into. See, the beta males were mistreated all these times, and that's why they go into these religious positions, or they do these like little shaming tactics. If they go into the religious positions, they're on the spotlight. The priest holds sermons and preaches to people, and that makes him feel powerful. A monk does similar shit, and they get free money, and that makes them feel powerful. It's all a power thing. It's the same thing how some beta males get mistreated in high school or whatever, and then grow up to be police officers, so they could bully and they could take out all that anger on other people. Like those massively fucking douchebag cops you see out there. They were pretty much beta males, and they're angry, and they just um, do this type of stuff. But they're the type of beta males that if anything came down to it, they're not like true police officers. If anything came down to it, they probably wouldn't shoot the criminal, or they would have a hard time arresting him properly or chasing him down properly. They like to meander in this like little meaningless garbage, like these mall cops or the cops that drive around and give people parking tickets and stuff. They act all tough or whatever, but when somebody pulls a gun on them, they're pissing their pants. You know what I'm saying? Alpha male police officers are the one that'll toss you against the fucking trunk of the car or on the hood of the car and smash your fucking face in a couple of times till you lose some teeth. And then, if anything comes down to it, they'll be the first one to shoot your ass down. That's the difference. See? Different positions in different fields. I have the beta male cops and the alpha male cops. What was I gonna get into again? Oh yeah, the beta males, and they get off on this. They try to empower themselves in like stupid ass, non-logical ways. Like, oh yeah, yes, you're truly the spotlight of human evolution. Yeah, I am. I am. MGTOW is. Why the fuck would we need women? The way to move forward in civilization is to, in my opinion, is to smash all human relations in general and to rely on things that are better, because humans by nature are flawed. There's the human error. Our minds are limited. Without technology back in the day, people would get hung, people would get burned at the stake, people would die at like age 30, people that would have medical conditions or mental conditions were considered possessed by demonic forces. People that needed surgery would drink whiskey and get their arm chopped off, and they might live and they might not. You see what I'm saying? So these kind of people are saying that it's better to be traditional and humans should progress in a peaceful way and all this stuff. It's time to abolish all that stuff. It's time to move on. Those times are gone. The future is progressing. Technology is progressing. Mechanics are progressing. Virtual reality. All this stuff. Like I said, sooner or later, it's going to be, I believe, human interaction. Humans will be interacting more with robots than other fellow human beings. It's going to be a sort of a mechanical and automated world in a society, because that is actually better, because let's say in the future you go to a supermarket and there's a robot that is the cashier, and the robot says, hello, how's your day, blah blah blah, and they talk like a regular human being, they bag your stuff, do you have any coupons, this and that, and they function just like a regular human being, they bag your goods, they're actually more polite, and sometimes they don't complain about their shitty job and all these things. They don't have stress, they don't have problems, they don't have a sex drive, they don't have any hunger. So you have robots doing these positions which humans were forced to do back then, Who the fuck really wants to be a cashier at a supermarket? It's the most boring and stupid position ever. It's you have to fake enthusiasm and smiling. Oh, how's your day? Oh yeah, do you have any coupons? Do you have any coupons? Do I really give a fuck about anybody's coupons? Do I really give a fuck about anybody else's day? I want to be out doing my own thing, you know? I want to be laying on a beach, getting my dick sucked by like 3 girls, you know? Not working as a cashier, you know what I'm saying? So, this is what I'm trying to say. These beta males, they want like sort of a shitty traditional society. An alpha male wants progression. An alpha male always looks forward. An alpha male, like I said, wants sort of world domination. But, you know, those times are kind of over. You know, we're not kings fighting over land anymore or any of that stuff. What I feel that true alpha male people will be in the future is just people that are rich and they have their own luxuries and their own things. You know, they have their own robotic mistresses and they have their own flying cars and stuff, while the other people just have, you know, regular cars still. And you know, the alpha males will be relying on more and more mechanical and technological things to progress in life. Because it's like, if I could have a orgy with like 10 different sex robots, why would I want to have an orgy with 10 females if there's a possibility of getting STDs, there's a possibility of pregnancy, there's a possibility of, you know, all that stuff. And even if all that stuff was completely obliterated, you know, there was no chance of STDs and pregnancy and all that stuff went away. There's always a chance. Humans by nature are, to me, are not to be trusted. You know, they could always stab you in the back. They could always, you know, toss you off the balcony or this and that. You know, especially as an alpha male, they see that you have all this money, they'll toss you off the balcony. Guess who's looting it? It's all theirs. By the time anybody figures out, they're gone. They're in another country already, people. So that's how it is, people. Just talking about some random stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.